Welcome to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends, the podcast where we explore life, career, relationships, and pop culture through a Christian conservative perspective. Each episode, we dive into deep topics that matter most to us women, from navigating your career with grace and confidence to watering meaningful relationships grounded in faith. We're here to empower you to embrace your femininity and stand firm in your beliefs. We'll also tackle the latest in pop culture, discussing how they align or clash with our values. Let's uncover the truth and encourage each other to live boldly and authentically. So whether you're at home or on your commute, get ready for some fabulous conversations. Grab your teacup, pour yourself some tea. Come on, girlies, we're changing culture. The views expressed on this podcast are our own and do not reflect our employers. Enjoy. Hey, hello, friends. You were listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends, and I am Mallory. This is a bonus episode, last minute. So much happened on Twitter, so this is going to be super informal. There were three really big things that happened on Twitter this weekend, and I want to give my opinion. I'm always going to give my opinion on things that I want to give my opinion on, but this, I love an unsolicited opinion. From me, of course, not necessarily from other people. From me, I love to give unsolicited opinions, but this specifically, my opinion was solicited on all three of the topics. So I'm excited about that. I have notes here and there, tweets I have to reference and different things. I wish I had like a Jamie, from like Joe Rogan to be like, Jamie, pull this up. But your girl doesn't have that, not yet at least. So that's not going to be possible. But you're just going to have to listen and take my word for most things if I cannot pull it up. First thing, I want to do some housekeeping. This is going to be a bonus episode. Nothing too fancy. This isn't like a regular TCAP. Because we're just going to be talking about these three things. And nothing like, wild and crazy. These are all my opinions. My opinion, okay? So if I say something that you disagree with, that's perfectly fine. We live in a society where you disagree. But once again, it's my opinion. My opinion doesn't represent anyone but myself. And so, yeah, three things we're going to be talking about just to give you some more housekeeping so you can know what is going on. We're talking about pro-lifers, specifically like Kristen Hawkins versus just the entire abolitionist movement. Elon's new baby mama, his 13th baby, fourth baby mama is Ashley St. Clair. And this is going to be a very interesting topic. And then patriarchy Hannah, how she was fake. And some of your favorite trags are also fake. And you can take that to the bank. Okay. So, all right, let's get started. Let's talk about pro-lifers, specifically Kristen Hawkins versus abolitionists. Okay, a caveat. I know Kristen Hawkins. I guess I would consider her a friend, like a colleague. Maybe not a colleague, but she's like way above me. I like her. I have nothing necessarily against her. I don't think she's perfect. There's things she said that I vehemently disagree with. I don't do anything with her org right now. I can't, I've never worked for her org. That's another thing. I've never worked for them. I was an intern a couple years ago, the C4, but, I've never 99.9% of things I did was volunteer. So let's just get that out of the way. 95% of the abolitionists I meet are some of the meanest, cruelest, least compassionate people I've ever met. But I have met some very kind ones. One is going to come on the podcast and we're going to talk about it. She's been very kind to me, and honestly, she has softened my heart. And I'll get to that in a second. She's truly softened my heart toward abolitionists. And then another one that both of these women have been incredibly kind to me. And part of it, I think, is just I was willing to listen to them. It's these other people, especially on Twitter, and sometimes when I was doing more sidewalk stuff, seeing them on the sidewalk, just at meanest, least compassionate people I've ever met. But not all of them are like that, and I want to discuss more of that. And she's gonna talk more about abolitionists. We're gonna have that conversation because I want to have the conversation. I think it's an important conversation that needs to be had. So that's just the caveat coming into this conversation. I cannot tell you what sparked everything. Let's see here. Let's go to Kristen's Twitter and see what sparked it. First of all, if you don't have Twitter, girly pop, you need to get Twitter if you want to like keep up with all of this. Another thing is like I don't necessarily want this to be like a gossip time, and I think that we're all women and humans. We have a tendency to do that. So I'm going to try to just stick with like straight up facts. I'm going to try to, now obviously because I'm girly pop, it will sound really like, ooh, gossip time. That's not necessarily my intention. My intention is just to talk about like what's going on and to produce facts. If something I say is not factual and I need to make a correction, I will. If something I say someone doesn't like, but it is factual, I will not make the correction. As I've said before, if I'm correct and people are making a big deal, I'm probably going to double down because like that's just my personality. Okay, let's see here. I'm looking here to see when did this all get started. All right, Kristen Hawkins. So I think it started really with Kristen tweeting. So it started about 5 days ago before Valentine's Day. I hope you listened to the episode before this where we talk about spending Valentine's Day as a single. It's actually a really good episode. I have Noelle Fitchett on and it's honestly really good. So let's see. So it started at the 12th. The first thing I'm seeing here is about her blocking abolitionists. Wait, I honestly don't see. Maybe. I don't see what she said that would have upset them. Unless maybe she deleted it. Anyway, let's just go. Let's just. Okay, here we go. This is what I'm seeing. So this is the first tweet I saw this. I don't know where this came from, but this is the tweet that like I think really set everything off. It said, it's a sad thing is the people I fear getting shot by most of the time aren't crazy leftists. Most of them don't have guns or how to use them, LOL, but, quote, abolitionists. Think about that. And that set off an alarm. This comment has 60,000 views, 259 comments, and 259 comments. And I don't think that includes, or replies or whatever. And that does not include people she has blocked. She's had to block people I'm guessing she blocked, because there are at least 500 abolitionists out there that I will have to block. So let's say 259 comments plus at least 500, I'm assuming, because once you block them, the tweet will disappear. So I'm assuming, so 259 plus 500, at least one comment, because the only way she'll know that they're there is if they comment. So it just started this whole thing. And the whole debate, if we talk about who said this person said that, that's not really what I want to discuss. I mean, we can get into that maybe later, but the whole conversation about pro-lifers versus abolitionists. So let me read to you, my friend. That's going to be the podcast she sent me. Okay, this is way too long to read the whole thing. I will try to remember to link this for you to find out the actual definition of what abolitionists believe. This is what is on this abolitionistrising.com. This is what is here. This is what they're saying. We, as abolitionist organizations, agree with the pro-life position that abortion is bad, but further, we believe abortion is murder and ought to be treated as such. While many who call themselves pro-life agree with us that abortion is murder, abortion has not been opposed by the pro-life political establishment in a manner that is consistent with it being murder. The manner in which abortion has been opposed by pro-life lobbyists and politicians has not only been inadequate and largely unfruitful, but cannot be fruitful, for it betrays the very foundation of the case against abortion. So, essentially, for those who want to break down, abolitionists specifically believe that abortion should be treated, or in law, that the person who commits an abortion should be treated like all other murderers. I think a good chunk of pro-lifers actually believe. That's why I have a hard time, because I'll say myself, like, over the years, I agree with that. I do think that they're going to be consistent. We're going to say abortion is murder. The person who commits murder should receive some sort of punishment. I have not sat down and debated and decided what specifically because, we have, anyway. And I personally don't believe in the death penalty. And I know that a lot of abolitionists, I want to say like 99% of abolitionists believe in the death penalty. I don't believe in the death penalty. So I don't believe that someone should be killed for killing someone else. So yeah, so essentially what they're, and once again, like I do believe there should be some sort of punishment because if abortion is murder, this person committing murder, there should be punishment. What that punishment is, I have not sat down and thought specifically about it. Same with, anyway. So equal justice under the law, that I agree with. Whatever is on the books for, intentional murder, especially here's the where I think we might differ is I believe that specifically if someone intentionally does it, they know what they're doing is wrong and they intentionally do it. Now, here's the catch. Not every woman that has an abortion knows what she's doing is wrong. I will say from my years on the sidewalk, talking to different people, from just the things that I've done, a lot of them do. A lot of them do and do not care. And I definitely think people who do and do not care should be punished. I do not think that if you do and if someone does not know, like if they're, and I will say this, I feel like when I've talked to a couple of abolitionists, there are people don't believe that anyone doesn't know. Like people just don't know. No, there are people who genuinely do not believe that that is a human being in their body. Those people, I think, I don't know. It doesn't change the fact that it is a human being, whether someone believes it or not. I guess they're consistent. Something has to have to receive a punishment as well. All that to say, this is where it gets really dicey. And this is the part that is uncomfortable when it comes to pro-life activism, pro-life advocacy. It gets uncomfortable because our goal is to change hearts and minds. Our goal is to save babies. And I'll say to myself, this makes me uncomfortable. 10 years from now, I'm talking to someone, I want to help them, and they pull up this clip of me real time working through being consistent, and it's uncomfortable because because here's the thing, there's so much stuff attached to abortion. There are, whether we want to admit it or not, there's tons of emotions attached to it. There's reasons. Some are more understandable than others. Not every abortion is just some college girl out and about and just sexing it up and, I want to be with a man. That's not every abortion. Sometimes it's women who are, negative, difficult situations, who truly do want their child. So I think that it's good and important for us to acknowledge that and not to act like, no, every woman knows and every woman is doing it intentionally to hurt their, I think that type of attitude, that type of behavior is not conducive to a good conversation, and it's not productive. It's not going to get us anywhere. So that's why this conversation is so hard to have, and it's really difficult to say, because at the end of the day, these are people's lives we're talking about, and we're talking about the baby's life as well. There are two people specifically who are affected by this because of just how God has made women the carrier. Well, I'm sorry. 3 people who are affected by this because God made women the carriers. It does. There is a little bit more on us as women. That's just how it is. I definitely think we should also look into we can somehow also punishment. So once again, and it goes back to these conversations are so hard because sometimes it makes me uncomfortable to even have them because we have not changed our culture. But if we can work on changing our culture, there'll be less of this and there'll be less, icky. Anyway, you guys just saw in real time me thinking about these things. We'll do an episode on abolitionists and whatever coming out soon. So on Twitter, they're going back and forth. It's really Kristen versus all of these other ones. And I'm not quite sure what specifically triggered it, But there have been some bills that abolitionists have been trying to get passed in some states, and Kristen and her organization have shut them down. And that's another conversation to have. So the question is, to me, the question is, as I'm looking at it, as someone who actually has been put in a situation like this, now about supporting certain bills, the question is, do we put, so here's, let me back up. The problem is we're not electing actual pro-life politicians. We're electing people who are like, well, 15 weeks, well, 12 weeks, well, 6 weeks. Like, that's what we're electing. And so that's the first, like, to get a bill passed, you have to have enough people to agree with the bill. You have to have enough people to vote for the bill, okay? If you put forth a bill that says life at conception, a life at conception bill, soon as conception, let's just be basic about it. Life at conception. So, moment egg meets sperm, baby there, you kill the baby, there's a problem, okay? We'll do something simple, basic at that. There are not enough politicians in most state legislatures that will vote for that. I'm going to be honest with you. Probably aren't a lot of politicians that even believe that. But that's a whole other conversation. And I'm talking about even in Republican legislatures. Okay? So we got to get someone who will agree with that. So the question is, do you support the bill that says this? And there is no way this bill will go through. Or do you support a bill that says heartbeat, which still leaves babies dead, but saves so many? That's the question. Okay. And abolitionists and pro-lifers typically have a different response. I can say with more research, maturity, learning more about laws, learning about actually being a part of some things and just doing research and talking with people on both sides of the argument, I go back and forth, especially as a Christian, because at the end of the day, the abolitionist movement is only for Christians. I don't think from what I've seen, when my friend comes on to talk about it, she can prove me wrong. They don't really welcome non-Christians. So that's the first thing. Pro-life definitely welcomes non-Christian. But abolitionist is not really open for anyone that doesn't believe that Jesus is Lord. So specifically as a Christian, this is difficult because it's none or 99, it feels like a lot of times. And am I saying none to just be yeah, I voted the way I'm supporting, not voting, I'm supporting the 99. So I supported 0 babies being saved because that's the right thing to do. And God thinks so. Is that why you're doing that? I think that sometimes is and I don't want to misrepresent abolitionists. I don't want to misrepresent the people who I've talked to. It just sometimes it comes off as, it appears to be kind of just well, whatever, 0, I'm doing this, 0 babies will be saved, but at least I da-da-da-da. And then it's so then what's the point? If the point is to save babies, if the point is to, then why not do what will save the most babies? Now, you can take this as far as you'd like, I guess, but once again, these are just conversations that are being had. These are things if you're not really in pro-life world, you probably have no idea are being talked about and discussed. If you're just someone who's casually pro-life and supports your local PRC, you might not know, but these are conversations that are being had behind the scenes, and it just kind of was come to light. And once again, my stance is I think equal protection under the law. So what that looks like, I can't sit here and tell you full blown, this is what I propose, blah 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 blah. But on the most basic level, equal protection under the law. If murder is murder, then the murderers should be treated as such. And the more I think about it, the men involved should receive something too. I don't think it should just be the abortionist and the woman. Now, you know, if there's proof. Well, once again, and like here's the other hard part about it. Some of this stuff is going to be hard to enforceable. It's going to be difficult to figure out like how you would know X, Y, and Z. So that's also why I think it's so important for us to change culture, so that there will be even less of these cases. So that the cases that do have, they'll be able to focus on and actually use the limited resources they have to, you know, get to the bottom of how to fix it anyway, because there won't be that many courses. Like, this is just in the ideal world. These are my thoughts. Once again, these are just like my thoughts, my opinions. Don't get mad at me if you, I mean, you can't get mad at me. It is what it is. Like I said, like between the two groups, Christian versus Evelyn, I don't really have like you know, not really necessarily on anyone's side. I'm just like reading what's going on and just kind of like dissecting some of the exchanges and just some of the things that people say, and like giving my opinion on the whole thing. I definitely think I want to have the conversation with my friend, because I do think that a lot of people don't know what abolitionism is, and the people that do know have a negative connotation. Like, if you're in the pro-life movement and you've done, like, it kind of has a negative connotation, because like I said, some of the people, not all of them, and I can say without like hesitation, not all of them. You know, sometimes you say not all of them. Well, I'm sure there's a good one out there. No. I can say there are good ones out there, but I will say the majority of interactions I've had with them, people have been very rude and lacking compassion. So you have this idea of them in your head, and you don't necessarily want to call yourself one, because like realistically, once again, like abortion is murder. So I, you know, am probably lean definitely more that way. I guess it's hard. And I want to say this other thing too. This is why I'm glad I have a podcast, because I typed it out and then I was like, no, I don't want to type it out, but I can speak it out, what I was thinking. And, you know, she's probably never going to see this. That's why it's good to have your own podcast and just chat. Even if no one listens, you can at least just get it out. I'm in a Facebook group, and someone was talking about this, and long story short, this woman commented, well, it's so, a lot of people are saying things like, I feel, or this person's tone. It's such like a woman thing for us to care about emotions and feelings. And I am so sick of that. Absolutely. Facts don't care about feelings. Absolutely. The truth is the truth. No matter how you feel, you can hear me think this through earlier in the episode. The truth is the truth, no matter how you feel or no matter how X, Y, Z. But people are people. I'm not going to listen to you if you're being rude to me. Okay? I guarantee that woman, if someone liberal was saying something rude to her, she's going to tone them out too. I hate that so much. Like, it's a human thing to want to be treated like a human. It's a human thing for you to want to be talked down to. It's human, and it's okay to want to be mistreated, especially, and here's the gag, you can get the same information. Like I said, there are nice abolitionists, because this person was explaining how. So anyway, there are nice, so you can get the same information with people being rude, someone being rude and mean to you too. So, I mean, I don't get so why on earth would I want to listen to someone who's rude to me? Why would I want to listen to someone who's talking down to me? I can still get the information from someone else. Like, I don't know. I really, well, it's just such a woman thing to do. Okay, and God made us like this. Now, as you can, I'm not perfect, but as you saw earlier, I had to push down some of the thoughts. Not push. I had to work through what I said. It's icky and it's uncomfortable, but that doesn't change the truth. You heard me say that. You heard me do that. You probably, if you're watching, you saw me do it in real time. So, like, it's okay. It is okay if you don't want to be talked down to. That doesn't make you a terrible person. Okay, I wanted to get that off my chest. So, switching gears and kind of in the same ballpark, Ashley St. Clair might still be a turning point girl. Babylon be page. I actually have her blocked because I'm not a fan. Let's see here. Oh, she wrote that book that's so funny called Zelensky a Gold Digger. weird. She wrote a book and got in a very public spat with Matt Walsh. That was interesting. I don't know if you guys remember that. She wrote like I think it's like walruses aren't bees, or I don't know. I don't know the name. It's basically the same thing about that Matt Walsh book, a children's book. So and she, was someone who was very harsh to women who she talking about women in a traditional family and women who didn't have traditional families. She was very harsh. She's part of that brand that kind of just says whatever and let me see if I can find something specifically. She's part of that brand that kind of just says like kind of outlandish things and like an Isabel Moody or Loki, the other Isabel girl, and then just it's kind of like, and she's really hot. Let's be real. Let's call a spade a spade. She's very hot. Let me see. Let me find. But she's part of that brand. For those that do not know. So she posted on February 14th. 5 months ago, I welcomed a new baby into the world. Elon Musk is the father. I have not previously disclosed this to protect our child's privacy and safety, but in recent days, it has become clear that the tabloid media intends to do so, regardless of the harm it will cause. I intend to allow our child to grow in a normal and safe environment. For that reason, I ask the media to honor our child's privacy and refrain from invasive reporting. Now, this happened February 14th. Okay. Chronically single, so you know. Actually, I was gonna say I was doing anything. Actually, I had a great time. I went to a rage room with some friends, and then we went and got Mexican, got food poisoning. But at the time, I wasn't food poisoned when I was reading this all night. By all night, I mean till like midnight, and that was a late night for me. If you know me personally, you know that was a late night. So this was wild and crazy. Something else was happening that night that we'll talk about right after this. This was wild and crazy. I had this woman blocked because I like I said, I don't like her. I don't like her brand of conservatism. Well, okay, let's start off with one of the questions. Is she conservative? I don't like that brand of Republican center right of center. I don't like that brand of right of centerness. That's what I'm starting saying about like certain people, like Elon Musk, right of center, not conservative. By golly, G, not conservative, right of center. Anywho, okay, so this was going on. So I have this woman blocked, so I didn't see it. I saw people talking about it. I was like, that's another baby. And Ashley Sinclair. Not Ashley Sinclair. Yes, Ashley Sinclair is who that was. So let's talk about, so there's two things going on with this Ashley Sinclair, Elon Musk conversation. Two things. I almost want to take it in a gossipy way because there's so much fodder to be said about it, but I think that will not be using my platform properly. Now, I'm saying this, hold me accountable. I'm not perfect, so it might get in that direction, but there's just so many other aspects of this to be discussed other than like the gossipy. Oh, did you hear this? I heard that. So let's talk about the two main questions of this news. Question number one. Okay, question number one. What is going on? This is Elon Musk's 13th child, his fourth baby mama. Is this conservative? What is going on with her? Like, what does this say about conservative? As these are our leaders for center, right of center. These are supposed to be our leaders. We talk about traditional family. She has tweets talking about traditional family. There's tweets of, like these people talk about like black ghetto baby mama stuff. I mean, I've never, and this isn't not trying to gossip, but like homegirl has two other kids with different dads. So like, this is that ghetto. Like, I feel comfortable calling Elon Musk ghetto. I feel weird saying about Ashley because I don't know enough about Ashley to make that assumption. I mean, it's icky and sticky and Elon, So, okay, this is his 13th kid. So what does this say? What does it say about the movement? What does it say about our leaders? About people who we are platforming? People make mistakes. People make choices that we don't necessarily agree with. How do we respond to that? And then the second thing is like, how do you respond to people who are pro-life? How do we respond to information like this? Let's discuss the first one. I want to say this. I believe in redemption and I believe in forgiveness. I believe in repentance. If to me, the biggest like crime in the public sphere of this is that she was making fun. Like, she was so harsh, so rude. She was like, said all these things about people who made similar situations, made similar decisions, and put themselves in similar situations. And now she's doing that. And the tweet didn't say, I made a mistake. The tweet didn't say, I thought that this was the best decision. I'm sorry. Like, the tweet was just like, I'm letting you guys know because I'm about to be found out. So here, dang, here. Okay. That's what the tweet said. And to me, what would have been better, more appropriate, what I think would have made me feel more comfortable, saying that, like, I don't know, it would feel a lot less hypocritical, because I think you can, because we're humans, we make mistakes. I think a human can make a mistake. I think this can happen to someone and it be a mistake, a moment of weakness, and there's still a path of redemption. They can still have leadership positions. They can still be X, Y, and Z. I absolutely believe that. She doesn't want that. At least that's not what she has said so far. So it doesn't feel it feels as if, like, this is what I intentionally did. I'm letting you guys know because I have no other choice. I'm staying on business. That's what it feels like. So then it's like, to me, so then trickle that over to the next question about, like, how to respond. To me, that also kind of is like icky about the response. So Lila Rowe and Allie Beth had two different responses. And I'll say that when it comes to this stuff, this particular thing, I think that there are two women that are good with this. So let me say this. Every single baby is a blessing. There is no such thing as an unplanned child to God, at least. I mean, obviously there's unplanned to us as humans. To God, every child is planned. Every baby is a blessing. I believe that full-heartedly, like, full stop. Every baby is a blessing. The conception of every child is not always ideal. I mean, think about children conceived during rape. That's not ideal. To say the least. This was not even a child conceived out of love, it appears. I mean, days later, she's tweeting Elon, hey, I've been trying to get in contact with you, and you haven't answered. And he's saying stuff like, whoa. Like, that is not, like, this isn't the ideal situation, okay? So it's hard for me, and maybe also, and I can admit also too, like I said, I don't like this girl. I already had her blocked. Maybe this is part of that bias is coming in. It's hard for me to, like, because the other part of the conversation is like all of these conservatives saying congratulations. It's hard for me to think that she specifically deserves a congratulations. The baby for sure, and deserves our prayers, because this is awful, an awful way to start off on earth. Your parents fighting like this so publicly, and I'm flabbergasted about how this all came about, because she got married like 2 years ago. And I don't understand. Maybe it might have even been more than 2 years ago. And then, Elon has all these other children with so, like, this isn't the ideal situation. And I think the part that's just so, like, gosh, I think we should all definitely pray for that baby. Pray for all of Elon's children. Pray for her other children. She did a tell-all exclusive thing with New York Post, and that was interesting. And she has other children, so, like, it just, golly, this is hard. This is hard for me. I understand why Lila did it. Actually, let's just go ahead and read Lila and Alice's exchange, because I think that it is. You guys tell me. I don't know what's right. And once again, I think that the baby is a blessing. I think that congratulations on the baby for sure. As in like the baby, congratulations. I don't know. Let me see. Let me find an exchange real quick. Almost there. Okay, so this is what Allie said. If a friend told me she's pregnant out of wedlock, particularly with a guy she barely knows, my response would be, wow, thank you for telling me. I'll be with you every step of the way. Want to meet up and we can talk? Saying congratulations in that scenario just doesn't seem right in light of what I believe about marriage and family. Lila, I am a huge fan of Allie and we agree on far more than we disagree. I disagree about this take. A woman pregnant from sex out of wedlock, especially one who is single and may be most tempted in our culture to abort, needs encouragement that her baby is a gift. Other people's positive and excitement for the baby can be life-saving. Congratulating her on the baby isn't congratulating her on a bad decision. It's congratulating her on a miraculous new life God himself created. I can tell multiple stories of women I know personally who were encouraged to choose life because of the positivity and excitement of the people closest to them. Revealing their pregnancy was not the time for judgment or withholding of congratulations. It's a time for unconditional celebration. I wrote a chapter in Fighting for Life about this. Celebrate life unconditionally. So then, I hear that. I'm like, no, she's right. Congratulations is necessary. I think when we think of my friend context, for sure, but like, I don't think I would hesitate. As a matter of fact, something similar that happened to my friend. I didn't hesitate. Congratulations. I think, and I'm thinking of this particular friend compared to Ashley, it feels so different because also if, other people are reporting on this, you can see this on Twitter. It almost was as if Ashley was doing things intentionally to get his attention. Like, it just doesn't seem like. And the friend scenario was, I don't know. What Lila said, I vehemently agree. I've done that. I'm thinking of two friends in particular. I have done that. Congratulations. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Well, great. What do you need from me? Like, let's throw you a shower. And then let's talk about this boy. Let's discuss now. A little more how this happened. Yay, baby. Let's talk about this boy now, and you guys are going to get married. Just joking. That's how my mom acts. So anyway, but then just with this particular situation, though, it doesn't feel as if it's that. It feels a little more intentionally, because I think most times when it does happen, even though sex equals possibility of baby, that is like, I believe that full if you're going to have sex, you need to think you're going to have a baby. Even though that is the truth, not everybody, that is not the intention. That is not like what everybody has in their minds. But from the information we have presented in front of us, it appears as if that might have been intention. To intentionally create a child with someone who would not marry her. I don't know. From what the information I have, the information I've gathered, what we see in front of us, this is what it appears. And I don't know if your friend, that was her intention. I don't, but that doesn't change the fact that the child is still valuable. So y'all, this is a hard one. Like I said, I don't hesitate with Lila Rose to agree with Lila Rose. I agree with her 100%. I think specifically with this Ashley situation, it just feels different. Because here's the thing, none of my friends are intentionally sleeping with billionaires to have his children. So I think that's where that scenario breaks down. But thank God she chose life. Either way, the baby, I just want to make it extremely clear that the baby is not the problem. The problem is the adults, for myriad of reasons. The problem is the adults. What do you guys think? Let me know. All right, last segue, last topic. This also happened Valentine's Day night, and like the day that morning when I was like sick and I was scrolling, it would be like a tweet about Ashley, tweet about Hannah, tweet about Hannah, tweet about Ashley, Hannah, Ashley. It's just funny. Patriarchy Hannah. She, for those that do not know, She was a very popular Twitter. I'm saying popular. I mean, she had 27.2K followers, but she got views. Like, I've seen her. I had her blocked as well. Because, like, some people, what I've been doing lately is, like, on Twitter, if you're not bringing, like, something actual, like, interesting, like, if you're, like, when I see a tweet that you make and it kind of annoys me, and then I just go ahead and block it because I just don't want to deal with it. And it's made me so much happier. Honestly, I've been blocking a lot of these trad patriarchy people, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So anyway, she was blocked. But I had seen, before I had blocked her, I had seen her picture come across. She also was like Rachel, who is also being exposed as being a fake. And I knew she was a fake. And I have her blocked as well. Sometimes I get their accounts confused. I don't know why. They are kind of, I wonder if they ever collabed. Someone look into that. Anyway, long story short, this gentleman, Ryan Duff, released all of this information about how this woman was fake. I will try to remember to link the tweet thread. If I don't, I mean, you can just type in patriarchy Hannah into Twitter and it'll just, I mean, all of her stuff, everybody's commentary, you'll find the thread. So it turns out this woman was not old. So let me tell you an overall. I'm going to give you like a brief overall and then kind of talk about like my thoughts on the whole thing and like the whole, a brief overall. A married homeschool mother of 14 kids, and she's part of the patriarch thing. She's really into patriarchy, submits to her husband, said stuff like she's had none of her births. She had an epidural for any of her births. Making comments like that and like, talked about how her husband for Valentine's Day, like took her somewhere where they had their first kiss. It was like the perfect ideal, like trad wife. She did everything she was supposed to do. She submitted to her husband. Her husband provided everything. She was just this amazing mother that was tweeting all day with her 14 boys, and some of the boys were married off, and she made a binder of their favorite recipes and gave those recipes to their wives, and she built houses on their land for her boys to live in, and she was just this great, awesome, amazing, wonderful mother who, by golly gee, this woman just is so great, and she's just the most ideal mother that's ever mothered, and no one will ever think that this mother was a better mother. And then she had beefs with Allie Beth Stuckey. She kind of had beefs with everybody pretty much. That wasn't like super the way she wanted them to be, I guess you could say. She just was so great and perfect. Y'all, turns out she unmarried and childless. I don't think this is very relevant, but everybody that has talked about it has mentioned it. So I'm going to say she's also obese, which I thought this was funny. Someone commented, actually let me read it because it was just like, oof. But I'm working on that obese part. I'm not going to always be obese. Someone said, if I had to guess, I'd say she's pretty bad off. Think about it. Obese, single, and living with her parents. So anyway, that's her. And the picture that everybody found was a mugshot. She's been in jail. And then I saw, because I sent something else to a friend who I was discussing this with. Let's see here. It's actually like, yikes. Oh yeah. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to say that because it doesn't seem to, I don't know if there's any corroboration on that. I really don't want to be like adding to like things that aren't completely true. So it's just, and the more like, if you look into it, I don't necessarily want to repeat some of the tweets that are more like not corroborated, because there's people who said I talked to her and I found this out, I did this and I found that, but there isn't really corroboration. But like the gentleman who bust this whole thing wide open had tons of, so like I feel comfortable talking about his stuff. Some of the other stuff I don't necessarily feel comfortable saying because like I don't really fully know. Anywho's, all that to say, her Rachel is being exposed right now, and then There's a couple other people who I think are fake as well. Alex Clark even said that too. What I want to say is this kind of like, I hate to say it this way, but you guys just let me get my full thought out. This kind of shows how like the trad life is kind of unattainable. You can't be perfect. And, the women who are really living trad lives are not tweeting for 8 hours a day. They are not, they don't have the time for that. They aren't wearing glamorous dresses or like that the trad life that is advertised. I'll say that. Of course, you can be traditional, live on a farm and, do X, Y, Z. I mean, the other Hannah from Ballerina Farms, I think but she would call herself not trad, and she's not trad. But like, that if that's the type of thing you like and want to do, of course you can do that. Now, let me back up. Hannah's is also low key unachievable because remember her family, she married into like either the Delta or Southwest family, and like, and then she said she gets sick. Anyway, my point is, there are things in tradness that you can absolutely achieve. That's attainable for sure, and like I encourage that if that's something you want to do. That's something I want to do, but that's not something you want to do. Absolutely do it. But I think this hopefully will take pressure off of these people. Like, I hope everybody will start taking a step back and like look at some of these accounts and like start thinking a little bit more critically and like with a little bit more open mind about, or a little bit of more skepticism about some of the things that they're saying that just aren't really true or possible, and realize that like if you don't reach this standard, if you can't actually be XYZ, that's okay because it's not real. I think that a lot more will be exposed. One of my friends and I were talking about it, and she was like, yeah, this whole trad thing is like over. And I think so too. And I don't want you to hear me saying, yeah, I don't want you to hear me being like, oh, she doesn't think that women should live on farms or something. I don't care what you do. And, if you're married, I do believe you should submit to your husband for sure. I believe that if you want to live on a farm, you can. Want to homeschool kids, you can. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. Like, prerequisites for heaven or anything like that. And here's the other thing. You got to do what's best for your family. If your family can't do that, if things right now in your family do not allow you to do X, Y, and Z, then it doesn't allow you to do X, Y, Z. Okay, I think you should push and try your best to reach your goals. But if that's not possible right now, I mean, then don't do it. I think sometimes these accounts, these women, good intentions or not, I couldn't tell you whether they have good intentions or not, but good intentions or not, they purport this life that's just, once again, unattainable because it's untrue. And people get really caught up in that. I think I got a bit of mosquito. People get really caught in that. So that's patriarchy hit it. That's what happened. She was exposed, and I think it's just hopefully this will be like a wake up call to a lot of women. And I'm saying to someone who like for a while, I'll say maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years probably, I was really caught up in that. I wanted to be like one of those women that sort of, well, I wouldn't say necessarily I wanted to be on the farm. I was dating someone who wanted to do that, and I was like making myself like, you know what, I'll try it. And I love the person, so if that was really what direction we want to go in, I was going to make the best of it because I love that person. And then once we broke up, I looked more into it, and I kind of liked that idea, blah blah blah, the tradness. I never, after that, I was like not going to do a farm, but like, a little bit more of the trad, maybe homeschool kids, blah blah blah. No, that's not really what I want. And that's not like for my gifts and talents. I know that's not the direction God wants me in. So I think that's just something to think about. And I want you to know, like, I got caught up in all that. I believed in a lot of that stuff as well. I just really think you have to do what God has called you specifically to do for your family. And I think just remembering that, like, a lot of these people are lying. A lot of people are faking. One of my friends was like, well, I just don't understand, like, why are people doing this? And I'm just like, really, the money. The money. A lot of people, you will be shocked what people do for money. The money. The money. Ashley Sinclair did not, however, with Elon, because, let's be real. The money. The money. Okay. Well, that is the three things that went on this weekend. Crazy weekend. This was your bonus episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to upload it. Like literally, I've recorded it. I'm going to upload it hopefully within the hour of me finishing recording it. Listen, let me know your thoughts. What are you thinking about the abolitionist versus pro-lifer conversation? The congratulate, don't congratulate. Do you think tradness is over? Let me know. And yeah, listen for more later on. Have a good day, night, evening, however, wherever you're listening. Bye.